The USA in your Chevrolet. America's asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all. On a highway or a road along a levee. Performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy.
So a lot of this wiring is for the cruise control, which I'm going to remove because I never foresee being able to use it or dealing with all of the hassle of it being used. And you can see the new brake lines going into the end of the master cylinder. One side feeds through the tunnel all the way out to the rear, and the other side goes to the terminal in the left front wheel well area. So I'm going to remove all this wiring and take it out of the tunnel since the tunnel cover is currently off. All right, to do more documentation, there is the cruise control switch. That cable assembly comes down and goes over into that bundle. One thing that's got me, I won't say concerned, curious, is looks like this is a vacuum line that goes all the way to the engine compartment. A vacuum line all the way to the engine compartment. So that can come out of the tunnel as well. It appears that this unit is screwed to the firewall from the other side. So in order to get to the other side, I have to take that panel out, which I'll do now. The panel is out, and here there are two studs that come out of this panel that have nuts and washers on them to hold against the distribution box for the heating air. So that nut right the top middle there, right there, that is the one that holds the cruise control unit to the firewall. So I'm removing it. So we have a new camera. We'll see how this works. We'll try it for a while. The new brake lines are run underneath here. Rebuilt master cylinders back in place. And we're ready to put this cover back on. So there are the screws that I kept over there. Before I put the tunnel cover on, I should make sure that this heater cable that controls the heater box mixing cool air to hot air is fully functional, because it does run down through there. I know that this cable here is broken at the heater control, but all that does is control mixing in air from the engine area, and I don't want that. I want to just worry about the air that's coming in through these hoses, which is the hot air, whether I shut that off with this in a certain position or whether I have it on partially or on the way. So I'm going to already loosen the screw that retains the cable's sheath. I need to pry off the star ring so I can remove the cable from the end of there, make sure that this pivot turns, the door is functional, and that this cable slides inside the sheath properly. So watch the end of the cable when I move the lever. That is off. That is full heat. That's off and full heat. And the other thing is that this, which is the actuator for the door, rotates nicely. So I will now reconnect the end of that cable over the post of the door lever, put the little retaining ring back on, and we'll call the heat good to go. Alright, so one of the things I noticed was sometimes when I would push the lever, the heat lever, this cable was just kind of springing. See that bend right there? That needs to be straight or it just pivots. So I'm going to try straightening it with a pair of pliers, put it back in and see if it will hold its position when I push the lever in and out instead of springing around. It appears that we've got what we need. You can see that that is... Or is it? Is it bending on me? Or is it staying straight? Well, I know that it operates, so maybe we'll just leave it like that. So since the brake lines are all run, everything else in that tunnel should be fine as is, I am going to put the tunnel covers back on, get them up out of the way, and the same thing under the dash for that cover that goes over top of those lines. We'll put them in. Read through the directions. Saw nothing about temperature. It's 52 degrees in here. So I'm going to go ahead and dump the gas tank sealer into the gas tank, cover up that hole, and slosh it all around and get a good coating. So the inside is nicely coated. Used up most of that quart. So now we'll take it out in the sun and the black will absorb the heat. Now all the little dings from this car sitting in the garage and getting bumped around, I've marked and I've cleaned with grease and wax remover in preparation for, there's one up there, back there, up there. I've also sanded and wiped down all of these areas in the hatch that had the rust issue from cat peeing on it. And then there's some more down the driver's side up here on the windows. Pretty macked up. And some there and one up there. I will go ahead and spray this area back here and up in here, and then I will come back and put some of the spray in the cap, and then with a brush hit all the spots that require touch-up. So spots have been touched up. I've got a mask on. There's a lot of metallic in that was floating around, and it's not good to breathe the paint. Anyway, we've hit the major spots here, is making it nicer looking from 10 feet away. Vehicle. And back here, considering the condition of the metal, it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy at this point with the matching. I'll pull the masking tape off soon to compare. Then I got the other spots along here, especially in here where it's pretty rough around the window. So I feel like I get the weather stripping on around the hatch and engine back, drivetrain back in, be able to push the car out of the garage. I need to make room for other vehicles. So it looks like that is pretty close to, it's a little lighter, but for just touching it up, we'll go with that. I don't see anything. There we go. 208 Pontiac blue. Who'd have thought? Pontiac blue, pretty close to this interior light blue back here in the hatch area. Well, since we're experimenting with paint colors back here, that's Maui blue. It's still drying. It may dry a little lighter, but this other stuff does look, it's a little lighter too in the sun. Anyway, we'll keep playing with this.
In a Chevy, so make a date today. Just say the you